Allan de Campos Silva is a geographer based in Sao Paulo State University, UNESCO, and Agroecology and Rural Economics Research Corps. He is also a visiting scholar at the University of St. Thomas in St. Paul. There's a lot of interesting people at that little university. Allan will speak on the impact of COVID-19 among meat packers in Brazil and the U.S. I'm really fascinated to hear this research that you're doing. So Allan, take it away. Tell us.
Thank you, Edgar. It's a pleasure to be here among such extraordinary friends and comrades. I went to St. Paul because of Rob and Kenichi, so not a coincidence.
I had a feeling.
And I met Rob in February 2020 when I asked him to publish Big Farms in Brazilian Portuguese, which he generously accepted. And fortunately, today Rob is a strong reference in Brazil around both public health scholars and activists from pesticides movements and animal rights, and even social movements like MST, the movement of people without land in Brazil, our own place. So, and I would like to start commenting on Rob's work, kind of jumping back a little bit on the book itself, by stating that Rob is a remarkable, engaged and engaging writer. That is to say that he's not only a prolific author, but his ethical position as an author continuously opens paths for his readers, creating space to think, to breathe, and to take action in our truly hard times. And take, for instance, the piece "The Blind Weapon Maker," presenting the fault in our SARS. There you may find a comprehensive grasp of the origins of SARS-CoV-2 that just got stronger with time. That, in spite of the difficulties of carrying out research in the heat of the moment and around such a swampy terrain, where scientists responsible for carrying out research on the origins of virus in the WHO mission in Wuhan were among the team conducting research with different SARS-CoVs in experiment labs in China, with the financial support of EcoHealth Alliance and the NIH approval. Rob, in turn, puts different theories of lab leak under scrutiny, making us understand the importance of details such as the mutations that produce cleavage furin sites, or the role of industrialized livestock production of pangolins, both accessible to a common reader, actively refusing both xenophobia or chauvinism, but also in a more theoretical framework. His analysis seems to be consistent with the more sophisticated understanding of nature-society contradictions under capitalism. Still at that piece, the Blind Weapon Maker, we may find a tone of Marx' The 18 of Brumaire. Men make men their own history, but they do not make it just as they please, informing the framework in which his microbiological hypothesis moves. And he does that in a way that invites us meticulously sharing our resources so that the reader can take ownership of the journey and think for themselves. In a time of fake news, conspiracy theories, and obscurantism, that's really something. And in his new book, we may find an update of that piece on the origins of SARS-CoV-2 called Station 10, where Rob exercises another of his distinguishing quality, that is self-criticism, putting in scrutiny his own elaborations while the pandemic trend continues to move on. And last, and for sure not least, a relevant aspect of his social-political sensibility is to see through what's constantly invisibilized or skewed in our society of the spectacle. And here I remember a piece from his last book, The Dead Epidemiologist, called The Kill Floor, where he dives in the sacrificial landscape of Latino, Black, and immigrant labor in slaughterhouses as Luke mentioned, are meat processing plants owned by, for example, Brazilian-based JBS or Smithfield companies and others in the U.S., where many outbreaks of mass contagion had taken place. While corporate and technocrats at the service of Big Ag both accused immigrants of lack of hygiene, so different from the American traditional family, to say, of being responsible for the outbreaks. And at the same time, pushing those communities for the unhealthy / dangerous occupations with minimal protection. And in the face of new threats, like the states of Minnesota and Iowa, trying to remove any legal protection for children, working children, and pushing them into unhealthy and dangerous occupations such as cleaning and disinfecting meat plants. This article from the last book actually have become more actual, more present. And so for all that, I should say that we should keep reading Rob's book, but not only, also taking action together. And as a friend used to say, to conspire is to inspire together. So with that, I pass on.
Thank you so much, Allan. We'd love to hear more about your work at the meatpacking industries. That's right. There is a good conspiracy that we need to engage in, which will be inspirational for us all. Thank you so much for that.